So welcome to Key to Impact. And it's my pleasure to introduce you tonight to a good friend, but also a very successful person in the AI world and where it's going and what's happening with it, Gavin Redrob. So welcome to the studio, mate.
Thanks, bro.
And Gavin's going to walk through a little bit of a beginners of where AI is right now. Sort of beginners for you guys who have maybe never experienced too much of it. Maybe you've had some experience with some of it. And just open your eyes to some of the opportunities and also some of the threats that you need to be concerned about. But then how do we actually start to look to implement this in business? So I'm going to get Gavin to run through a presentation he's done a couple of times now and had great feedback. So I said, let's stick to that. But then we're going to open it up to a more informal discussion where we can all ask specific questions for your business, and we'll work through some strategies on what that might look like. So Gavin, I might, in the interest of time, hand over to you and let you go from there.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. Now, what do you see?
We're in the midst of a revolution where reality and virtual are merging together in a way that nobody has seen before. Since the dawn of time, mankind has sought out ways to improve, adapt, and grow. The recent advancements in artificial intelligence and the sheer speed at which it is progressing will make the industrial revolution look small in comparison to the incoming revolution of AI. Over the next 30 or so minutes, I'll share with you my insights and learnings about AI from spending thousands of hours using and implementing AI systems into my life as a father, author, thought leader, and a startup founder. We'll explore the impact that AI will have on everybody's life, both good and bad, and how we can better prepare yourself and your business to not only survive the next few years, but how you can leverage these new advancements in your favor. Simply by the fact that you're on this call, I'm going to assume that you've at least heard about AI and ChatGPT, and hopefully some of you have even tried it out. What I have found though, is that most people still don't understand how they can use AI in their own lives and in their business. During the presentation, I wanted you to open your mind to what's possible. I'll give you some examples of the latest AI tools and how they are being used, and I'd like you to think about how you might be able to use each of these examples in your own business. Consumer technology has steadily progressed at a fairly consistent rate since the 1980s. We've had a few moments in time where there have been some game-changing developments throughout that journey. The internet, the mobile phone, e-commerce, the iPhone, and social media, to name a few. However, as we enter the new phase of AI, it's not only game-changing, but actually life-altering. Everything that we know now is about to change in ways that we can't even predict yet, and at a pace unlike anything that we have ever experienced before. To give you some context of how quickly the adoption of AI is, think of ChatGPT's initial release at the end of November last year as the iPhone 1 release. It was cool and it showed some great potential. However, it took the iPhone 3.6 years to get to 100 million users, which was after the launch of the iPhone 3. Now, ChatGPT hit that same milestone, the 100 million users, in just 2 months. For further context, it took TikTok about 9 months and Instagram 2.5 years. I've been learning and researching AI for about 6 months prior to ChatGPT's launch in November last year. But like many, when I saw the power of it, I scrambled to go all in on AI. I spent a lot of time using it So much so that my wife must have thought I was having an affair with somebody online. And by January, everybody was talking about ChatGPT. Noticing this trend and a lack of information and resources, I decided to write a book called AI Tactics for Small Business. With the help of AI, I was able to conceptualize, write, and release the book in under 4 weeks as a first-time author. In the second week of release, it reached Amazon's bestseller rankings across 4 different categories. Whilst it might seem like AI is new, it's actually been around and an active part of our daily lives for quite a while. Assistants like Siri, Google Assist, and Alexa all use different forms of AI, including natural language processing and natural language understanding, to help process and respond to users' input. Social platforms and apps such as TikTok, Netflix, and YouTube all use AI in their algorithms to deliver relevant content to their users. And anybody who drives a modern car that has emergency brake assist or adaptive cruise control are all users of AI too. What has changed drastically, though, in the last few months is the level of access to the technology. Previously, it would require a highly skilled team of data scientists, technical experts, and engineers to build, train, and create an AI system for your needs. However, thanks to APIs and pre-trained models, we can access, use, and fine-tune AI models for our businesses or even our personal needs without the overheads or expenses that we have previously required. For example, at the start of this presentation, I showed the video of not Morgan Freeman. Now, the ability to change faces and voices in movies has been around for some time. It has in the past required advanced technology and camera systems with teams of experts and months of work to make this happen. We now have the ability to change somebody's likeness in near real time with high levels of accuracy and without the need for specialized equipment. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Our company is called Metaphysic, and we use artificial intelligence to create hyperreal content. The best, I believe, of the series. So
this is how I looked 30 years ago. He can even remove my mustache.
So wake me up when it's all over. You're a watching, gale watching. Todo este tiempo tratando de encontrarme yo. Está perdido. I'm going to show you some magic. This is serious breaking news. It's all real.
As you can see, Metaphysic AI have been doing some incredible work in this space. You may have come across their Deep Tom Cruise TikTok or even the AGT auditions. The quality of these deepfakes is becoming indistinguishable from reality, and with it, it brings a raft of ethical and safety concerns. As scammers are already taking full advantage of this technology, and with just 3 seconds of audio, yes, you heard me right, 3 seconds of audio, it's possible to clone any voice. Joe Rogan found himself at the center of one of these recently, with his podcast show being turned into a fake ad that went viral on social media.
There's a category of supplements that are very interesting, work very well to increase testosterone by about 100 to 200 points.
Well, look, that Alpha Grind product is all over TikTok. If you go to Amazon and you type in libido booster for men, you're going to find it right at the top. And that's because guys are figuring out that it literally is increasing size and making a difference down there.
It stimulates the testes, if you got those, to make more testosterone or estrogen.
There have also been a number of streamers and celebrities falling victim to deepfake porn videos, and even more chilling are the number of scams that are using children's voices to trick their parents into thinking that they have been abducted or are in trouble and need money. The AI technology is getting better and better every day, and the outcomes becoming more and more difficult for us to distinguish from what's real and what's not. The only defense that we have against it is to use AI to detect it. As such, there are a number of companies working on AI deepfake detection technology, which will become a massive industry within itself. If you've called the ATO or Centrelink in the last couple of years, you will have come across the voice identification system that requests you to say,
"Now, please repeat after me. In Australia, my voice identifies me."
so how long do you think it'll be before we see a news article with the headline about AI scammers hacking into Centrelink or the Australian Tax Office? While some of this may seem scary and even overwhelming, I'm highlighting it to show you how quickly this technology is infiltrating our lives. As with any technology, there will always be people that use it for good and some that use it for the wrong reason. However, there are a lot of positives to AI. Some of those include curing medical conditions and diseases, solving for climate change, and even world hunger, to name a few. So how do you go about integrating AI into your business today? Automating your systems and even your personal life to get more time is a great way. Using Make or Zapier with the power of OpenAI's API, you can automate nearly every process that is repetitive. And some examples include responding to emails, posting to social media, processing data from spreadsheets or Airtable, creating customized marketing messages or sorting data, sending anniversary messages, and so much more. I won't go into them all because there's too many to cover, but there are a ton of great videos on YouTube explaining exactly how to connect and set up OpenAI with Zapier or Make. And this is a great way to start integrating AI into your business or your personal life. But I want to add, adding AI to your business model just because it's the latest buzzword isn't the right way. However, I want you to think about how you can leverage AI in your business to provide a greater quality of service, or how you can use it to help automate some of your workload and free up some time. It's also important to think about the customer data privacy, especially if you're in a B2B to C type organization. Many of these pre-built AI models have privacy policies allowing them to use the data processed to further improve the model themselves or other models. So it's important to understand what data you're sending through any AI system and what data they are keeping. And if you're building in or have a business in the healthcare space, it's also important to consider the HIPAA regulations and to ensure that the AI service providers that you're using are compliant with those markets. It's also important to remember that your employees will have mixed emotions about AI. Some will love the idea of automating parts of their day. Others will be fearful that it will take their job. The best thing you can do is make any AI integrations a collaborative effort with your employees. Get them educated on AI, what AI is and how it can be used and what tools are available to them. Now, you may have heard the word prompt. It's quite often used when referring to AI. And basically, a prompt is a form of instruction that is provided to the AI system so that it knows what you want it to do. The development of custom prompts is often referred to as a term called prompt engineering. And prompt engineering in itself has become a critical part of many companies now. And it's even become a new job category, one that's paying very well, mind you. Anthropic AI, an AI labs company, recently advertised for a prompt engineer with a salary range between $175,000 and $335,000 US dollars. A bad prompt will produce a bad result, and a good prompt will produce a good result. Both will still deliver a picture of a horse, but one is clearly better than the other. So essentially, the number one rule with creating prompts is that if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. I'm going to give you a secret prompt. Well, it's not really a secret, it's everywhere, but which will help make things easier for you. So this is one of the simplest prompts that you can use in nearly every scenario on ChatGPT. Please, you got to remember to be polite to the robots in case they rise up and take over the world. But please act as some kind of expert, a social media expert, a lawyer, copywriter, those kind of things. And then let it know what kind of data you want to be, what kind of data you'll be putting in as an input. For example, product information, a letter, or information about your business. And then explain what you want the AI to produce, e.g., a marketing plan, a strongly worded response to a legal letter, or something specific that can be, the more specific you can be, the better the outcome will be. So here's an example of what it might look like. Please act as a social media marketing expert. I will provide you with product specifications of our new product, and I would like you to create a 7-day marketing plan for the launch, and then insert all of the product details. So what's projected for AI in business and the ecosystem? No matter which industry you're in, it's evident that every single industry will be impacted in some way by the developments in AI. So knowing this, you need to be asking yourself, what can you be doing to be at the forefront of the technology advancements? And what are you going to do to ensure that you remain defensible against any new incumbents in your industry? Many of the AI labs are in a race to see who can get to artificial general intelligence first, or AGI. AI capabilities can be broken down into 3 main sort of sections. There's narrow, general, and super intelligence. Narrow AI is typically highly trained to perform 1 or 2 actions at an extremely high level, whereas artificial general intelligence should theoretically be able to perform any task that a human can exhibit and a range of intelligence in different areas. Its performance should be as good or even better than humans at solving problems in most areas of intelligence. And then artificial superintelligence is where the AI has become self-aware and capable of thinking on its own. Once we get close to this point, you might be a good idea to start making friends with your doomsday neighbor who's got a zombie apocalypse bunker. So GPT-4, which is the current ChatGPT model, has now passed a number of academic exams with results that were far better than the average human results. Notably, it scored in the 90th percentile for the uniform bar exam, or the legal exam over in America, and nearly 100% on psychology and nearly 100% on biology. And to give you a sense of the growth rate of AI's capabilities, ChatGPT launched as version 3.5 in November 2022 and recently released GPT-4, which was significantly larger in size. Now, despite an open letter from leaders in tech space such as Elon Musk and number of high leaders from Google and a few other notable names, who wrote an open letter pleading for AI labs to pause any further training of models that are more capable of GPT-4. There are rumors circling, with some saying that GPT-5 is still being trained and could be released as soon as December this year. It's also rumored that GPT-5 will be able to reach artificial general intelligence. You can see the size difference there between GPT 3.5, GPT-4, and GPT-5. Obviously, they're not the scale. They're just a visual representation. There's a lot of startups and incumbents attempting to release products quickly in order to gain market share and the first market mover advantages. Whilst the existing tech titans are trying to adjust their entire business models in order to remain relevant and not become extinct. The big data tech companies are acting like agile startups that they once were, releasing new products faster than they have in years. This means that as a business owner, you're not only competing with other startups and other new businesses, but also with tech giants. The global AI marketplace is expected to reach $1 trillion in the next 6 years, and over 2.7 trillion just three years later. Now is the perfect time to be getting into AI. And locally in the Asia Pacific market, there's massive growth also expected. And it looks like the AI services market will be a dominant strength here in Australia, with AI software still being a huge opportunity. So what trends do we expect to see in 2023? Bots in the house. Expanded functionality bots can do so much more than vacuum the floor like the Roombas. These new bots from Samsung can pour you a glass of wine after a long day, or even do the dishes. These bots will be in the house sooner than we expect. Large-scale personalization. Thanks to AI, it's now possible to deliver highly personalized messages or products to your users and customers. At the end of 2021, Yotta Digital Bank teamed up with a company called Uberduck. It's an AI music production business. And they created 150,000 individual rap songs that sounded exactly like a fully produced Eminem rap. They sent these out to their customers with individual details on their banking for the year as a wrap up. This got the customers talking and sharing their raps online. It was a great marketing promotion. So it's a good idea to start thinking about how you can leverage AI for large scale personalization in your business. Immortality as a service. This one's a little bit more controversial, but investment firms are jumping at it. And if you think about it, all of our lives are already largely lived online through social media. And by capturing our thoughts and memories, it's possible to train an AI based on your own knowledge and life experiences. Taking it a step further, by connecting that AI into a robot clone of you, you could potentially live forever. If you could, would you want to? There's a great documentary film exploring this called Artificial Immortality. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Prime and Apple Plus. So check that out if you can. Hyper-automation is another major trend. Whilst regular automation has been around within departments for individual tasks, it's fairly common, hyper-automation will take it to a new level. So hyper-automation focuses more on leveraging AI and machine learning with robotic process automation to help optimize processes across the entire company, not just at the department level. Whether it freaks you out or makes you think of ways to outsource your job so that you can retire early, the simple fact is that AI is coming no matter what. This isn't just a fad, it's truly a massive shift in the way we work, interact, and function as humanity. Moving forward, nothing will be the same, and this new revolution will create so many incredible opportunities for those who adapt early and embrace the changes as they come. That's not to say that it won't be without its challenges. And for closing remarks, I'll hand over to President Obama to say a few words.
President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of fucked up dystopia. Thank you. And stay woke, bitches.
So I hope that you found an aha moment or two throughout this presentation. And if you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to take them now. Or if you have something specific that you would like to discuss for your business, then I'm also happy to reach out to me and book in a chat.
Great, thanks, mate. Well, there you go, guys. It's a bit of an eye-opener for some of the things that are happening. I think that version 5 looks a little bit scary if they're talking December on a launch. But it's over to you guys. Have you guys got some initial questions that you want to do that? And if not, I've got a few questions for Gavin as well. But we might, if you just put something in the chat, or can we take them off mute?
Yeah,
So
you can. Yeah,
you can unmute yourself and just talk to us if you have any questions.
Hey, Mark, it's Mel. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's good. I do have a question for both of you, if either of you know the answer to it. You
Yeah.
mentioned in our meeting this morning, Mark, that there is an AI app of sorts that enables you to send personalized emails, personalized cold emails, if you like, to people as part of, let's say, an email marketing campaign. What is the name of that app? Because it really caught my curiosity.
Yeah, well, there's two parts to that, and Gav, you may be able to bring up some of those examples if you want to, while we're, or not so.
Yeah.
So there's two parts to them. So one can be just your straight chat GTP, where you can tell it to write a email campaign of 5 emails to launch a product or launch a service. So to explore further about how a commercial lawyer can add value, a lawyer can add value in conveyancing, for argument's sake, in your case. And it will then write that for you. The other part is on LinkedIn. Are you naming what that name of that is?
No, I can't remember. I was just trying to think. But yeah,
I'll get it to you guys. I'll get it. Make sure you all get it, because I can't remember what it is. The actual plugin is either. But what Melissa's talking about that to the group is that you can actually do a disc profile on people in LinkedIn. So when you open it up and I look at Melissa, if I was searching Melissa up, it will tell me, like, I don't know if you've done disc profiling yourselves in the past, but it'll tell me what type of profile Melissa is. Then it will tell me how I could best pitch to Melissa, like the type of words that she would want to do. And then it gives me 2 examples of that, like wordings that I could actually use to do that. Now, the rumors are that I've heard coming through in that part of the world is that it will actually then determine the best time of day for me to be Melissa, to be emailing Melissa. So it then looks at her response rates on when she opens LinkedIn, when she opens emails, and will tell me exactly the best time to be actually able to send it out to her. So I will make sure, I'll try and get it now while Gavin's talking as well.
Yeah. So the other thing
Thank you.
is to keep an eye out on any email systems that you already use, because a lot of them have already started integrating AI into their processes and trying to make things easier for you guys. The Make and Zapier. So Make used to be called Integromat, and Zapier, or Zapier, however you pronounce it. Both of those integrate with ChatGPT and a lot of the mail systems as well. So you can use that as well as your LinkedIn and everything as well. So you can start to use that to really build out your own model of what you want it to actually do as an automation tool. So there are a couple of great places to start. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of new specific individual business or individual software pieces coming out that enable a lot of these tools. So the best thing to do is keep an eye out on those new announcements and those kind of things. There's a website called Futurepedia, which I will chuck in the chat shortly. But futurepedia.io, I believe, off the top of my head. That's a really good website for staying across new AI tools. And Product Hunt is also another really good one. So yeah, Product Hunt and Futurepedia are really great resources.
And the one we have, Melissa, is called The Verge. But as Gavin said, they're all, there's a competitive space here in the marketplace, and people are trying to fill that all the time. So literally week on week, there's new products coming out that are slightly better or slightly different. But the one we're using in the last 2 days is The Verge. But again, within a week, it'll probably be something different.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, that's okay. Any other questions?
So Mark's just put about there being a lot of marketplaces for prompts and that sort of stuff. Yeah, there are quite a few. The prompt base, I believe, is one of the big ones. There's a lot of different marketplaces. I'll just bring up some of those for you.
So what's his question? So I don't understand it. What's the prompt? What are you saying there?
Just where some of the places are to, like the marketplaces for prompts. Yeah, Canva. Yeah, so Prompt Hero is a good one for any of the image prompts. They've got a lot of, basically you can search through the images, and if you find an image that you like, then you can click on it and it'll tell you which prompt was used and on which system. So the main sort of image generation sites at the moment are Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and DALL-E, and all of those on Prompt Hero. And Prompt Base is another great resource. But they charge sort of $2 to $5 per prompt at the open marketplace. But if you're after something very specific, it's a great place to go and find some prompts. Just be careful not to load up too many, or otherwise you'll end up spending quite a bit. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Good work. Other questions in the chat there?
Key products.
Feel free to unmute yourself, guys. It's only a small group. We can do it here as well if you want to do it.
Hey, Gav, it's Grant here. I've got a question.
Hey, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for the preso. It was very informative. Mine's a basic one. I guess your ideas for implementation for more operational type roles or businesses. So thinking like, you know, because I think the examples used were like social media manager or legal contracts, etc. What about in the, say, hospitality space or accounts or admin, customer service, you know, operational type roles or businesses? How could they benefit too from AI?
Yeah. So I guess for the retail side, the now is probably things like marketing, automating marketing, hyper personalization of, you know, like if you're a coffee shop and you've got the discount codes and those kind of things, or you've got some kind of CRM that you can leverage the customer's information from, then you can really hyper personalize some of that automation, and to an extreme level too. Like not just, "Hi John, hope you have a great day today," but yeah, here's a video of Eminem saying, "Yeah, hey John, hope your day's awesome," blah blah blah, and using that hyper customization. Another great use case is more from stock and accounting and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of great image AI tools that do stock counting to make stock takes easier, and also used for security, so they can use, you know, security video footage to detect if an item's being taken and things like that. Those counting AI tools are really great for manufacturing and that sort of stuff as well. So a couple of those, I did have a couple of those somewhere. So that's called computer vision and deep lobe. Yeah, I can share that. Deep Lobe and Visio.ai are a couple of great ones for that. Also, if you're, yeah, so that's sort of the retail and manufacturing. I think the important thing with it all is, and across the board, is to look at what processes that you're doing at the moment that could be automated, and which processes take human input but not require a great deal of forward thinking or planning and things like that, where it's more of a, if this happens, then that happens. Any of those sort of processes can be automated pretty quickly.
Until December.
Yeah.
When 5 comes out.
That was helpful. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Mark's also asked if how we're using AI at the moment to be more efficient and more effective. The best one at the moment is probably, I'm going through the process of building a startup and stuff. So we're using it for everything from creating the pitch, structuring that out, creating our marketing messages, branding, going through, you know, defensibility. Brainstorming is a great way to use it as well for, yeah, just daily stuff. If you're a bit stuck on a few things, jumping on ChatGPT and just having a conversation and asking it questions, sometimes more helpful than talking to somebody else who's a human. But yeah, there's a lot of great ways. Email writing is really good. Yeah, even Grammarly has now integrated AI directly into their Grammarly app. So if you're a pro user of that, you can literally quickly create email responses and all of that sort of stuff.
Did you
pretty
set up
easily.
Matt's emails or not?
No.
No, okay.
No.
So Matthew, who's the general manager of our other business, Product Link, he doesn't write a single email at all anymore. So when he has an email come in from the buyer of JB Hi-Fi or Myers or David Jones, it will search, or even if I send him an email, so as a friend and as a business partner, if I send him an email, it will read my email, who it's from. It'll recognize the tonality that we talk to each other in. So we might sign off with cheers or see you, mate, see you at the gym at 5 or whatever. And I could ask Matt a question like, can we have a catch up at 5 o'clock about the financials? It will look at Matt's diary. It'll make certain assumptions, and then it will write his email, and in his draft, it puts the email into his draft. So it doesn't actually send it for him. He still checks it, but all his email, every single email now is written, and it goes through Grammarly check because he's about as good as I am at spelling. So it goes through there, and it's saved him a huge amount of time from his productivity point of view, because he's not super articulate. So he wants to write good emails for those sort of major buyers of those big stores, but he doesn't quite know how to do it. So it used to take him ages to do his emails, and now he's done that process. So anything where you've got a process, so I think about Warren and the accounting form. If we were to spend a day and brainstorm what it's capable of doing, someone like Gavin sitting there and saying, okay, that part can be done, this part can be done. You can take, systems that are, double checking figures in a spreadsheet of where GST is counted or not, or it's been, we can set rules up in the AI that it just then runs the programs. So it will physically read the tax returns when they're scanned in and tell you where the numbers are not aligning. So it's quite crazy like that. I think the best way is you got to play with that and the prompts, like you spoke, Gavin.
Yeah, a lot of it's trial and error and getting used to using things and just seeing what it's actually capable of. It'll unlock. Just on like your accounting option there, Stripe actually using AI now to detect credit card fraud and stuff like that within their system. So yeah, there's a lot of great sort of avenues, especially in that sort of analytical, predictive analytics and analytical data sort of things.
Yeah.
And just to touch on that, Lorraine has asked if anybody can tell if something's been written by AI. Yes, there are tools that detect AI writing, but there's also tools that basically reword it in a way that is undetectable. So there's a bit of a battle on that at the moment.
I think it depends what day you ask it. Like the speed that this stuff is happening. Even some of those voiceovers that we've heard now on Gavin's computer that would be 2.5 weeks old since that presentation went up, they've already fine-tuned him even further and further. So 2 weeks in AI is like a year in normal life. Like it's so fast. So even if an anti-detector or a detector, comes up, then the bots are actually looking at ways of how do we get over that anti-detector.
And Lorenzo says is it going to affect Google SEO negatively for websites? Again, there are SEO specific AIs that I think SEO.ai is one, or just SEO.io maybe. Both of those, or one of those, whichever one it is specifically designed to create SEO content. So it's in line with Google's most up-to-date algorithm changes and that. And they're rolling out changes just as quick. They rolled out a change to say it will impact it, and then they actually it won't impact it as long as it's still in line with the brand. And then there was a whole heap of back and forth on that. So yes, it can have an impact on SEO, but just be careful of what you're using it for. So if you're using it for blog creation or blog articles and that sort of stuff, definitely run it through some SEO detection type stuff, or use some of those more reputable SEO specific sort of sites for that.
So I know that Nader, my general manager, uses one. I'm pretty sure it's called Surf. Nader, you might want to say if I'm correct. You're online here. I think it's called Surf, and that's where we can actually surf. So sort of in our industry, which is coaching, we can surf blogs that are done in coaching in Melbourne and find the number one blogs that were that the most people were hit on and went to, and then look at what the SEO words were in there that actually drove that reaction. And then we can just copy them into our own blog, and within 3 minutes have a blog out that we know had all the SEO words that got the traction with our competitor. And I'm pretty sure that one's called Surf, but Nate will put that into the chat.
Yeah,
we can use.
The other use case that's really sort of beneficial is pretty much in every business is PDF recognition and processing of that data. So you can scan PDFs and have it read the text. Well, you can scan PDF, have it read the text, and process it into the database automatically. So if you've got forms from an event or something, you can have them go straight into your CRM and then automate the messages that go out from that. Or if you're in the accounting space, it's a great way to invoices and all of that sort of stuff. Processing those PDF sort of documents is so much quicker now. And yeah, no more data entry. So anything data entry should be pretty much obliterated within the next year, I'd say, at least. Not even. Yeah, simple spot. Grants put eventually could be AI communicating with AI, authenticity, ethics, a consideration at some point. Absolutely. There's actually some I'm reluctant to sort of put this one out there, but it exists and it's out there, and like anything, you take the genie out of the bottle, it's not going back in. But there's a system called Auto GPT, which is very much a developer heavy thing at the moment. You've got to code it up basically. But once you get that running, and I've tested this out a few times and played with it, but some of this, it basically it's a AI bot that create these GPT agents, they're called. So it's talking and tasking Chat GPT to do tasks for it and send back its responses, and it uses that to process and basically build out what it's trying to do. So instead of giving it a prompt, you set it a goal. So it's, say you want to set create me a business that makes $1 million a year, and then it'll go through and start thinking about it, and it'll go, okay, let me research what's the best way to make $1 million a year. So it'll search Google, it'll summarize all of those, and then from that, it'll create its next task, and it'll just keep going and going and going down the list, and it'll assign things to like ChatGPT, and it'll say, find me the 10 most profitable ways for this and all that sort of stuff. And there's a guy who's using it to create a software platform, and it realized that he didn't have a piece of code on his computer to be able to do it. So it found a Reddit article with instructions on how to download and install the code, and it automatically did it all without him doing a thing. He just literally watched it. There's a scarier example where a guy has basically modified it and called it Chaos GPT, which he's told it to destroy humanity, and left it running. You can watch it on YouTube. It's it goes for a while, but you can have a look at Chaos GPT, and it literally goes through and thinks. You can see it deciding what to do next, and it researches which bomb will be most effective to take out humanity, and then it creates it says, oh, actually, I'm going to need to get some people on board to help me with this because I can't physically move stuff. So it creates a Twitter campaign around extremists and all that, hashtag extremists and all this sort of stuff, to try and build an audience of followers that can help it destroy humanity. And it's just insane the logic in which way it thinks. And yeah, so if you want a scary one to watch, Chaos GPT on YouTube. And the other one to watch on YouTube is killer drones or killer AI drones. These little drones the size of the palm of your hand, with 3-pound explosives that facial detection, artificial intelligence, and all that. And they work as a team. There's you can have 10,000 of them that the first 1,000 blow the hole in the wall for it to penetrate through, and then goes through and finds the target, and it's insane. So yeah, killer AI drones. Look that up on YouTube and Chaos GPT.
if you don't want to sleep again.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Maybe not like that. I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, how could
Maybe-
I'm thinking, how could Warren use this more than Mark Noonan? Mark Noonan might use that.
Maybe
stuff.
leave that for
I was
night, for daytime.
just thinking back on when I was doing my master's in digital communication about 15 years ago, and we're talking about agents back then, you know, having, for example, you've got a case study where you want to book an overseas flight, and then you give that task to your agent, and it knows that you like to deal with Flight Centre, so it navigates that system, and then it navigates, you know, that you want to sit a window seat and so on. So it's about stitching all of those events together synchronously in line with how you've behaved in the past and somehow navigating that. So that's one of the key adjuncts to the future of AI integration. It's in terms of its utility, usability across so many things. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Mark. But I mean, if you look at how we can use it productively in your business. So if I was sitting in your seat, I'd be saying, how can I use this as a productivity tool? How can I increase time in my life? Like, what can I outsource to it? What can I get driven automatically through the processes, which it's going to improve and improve over the next 2 years. It's just going to be incredible. But furthermore, actually looking at your own industry too and saying, get real with it and say, okay, so where's the opportunity? Where is the risk in my business? So, you know, is conveyancing, for instance, going to be around in 2.5 years with humans doing it? Or is it, you know, what does that look like as best as you can predict where that's going? So where is the opportunity in that to actually ensure you're at the forefront of that process? That's how I would look at it. I mean, when I was financial planning, and I've been out of it now for 18 months, but I know that there was talk about this coming in, that with the amount of data, so AI is only really good with data. Okay, so it's at the moment, until we get to that number 5 version, where it can think for itself. But at the moment, it's only, like Gavin said, garbage in, garbage out. That's from a prompt point of view. But it's actually just utilizing data. So as long as it's got access to data, it can predict pretty accurately an outcome. And that's all it's doing for us. So with something like financial planning or even law, where you've got case law, you've got scenarios, having something that within 2 seconds can read that entire data, can come up with a financial plan or potential court outcome that's going to occur for someone based on history. So, you know, it's suddenly I think there's still going to be always, certainly in our generation, that need for human connection. I'm not saying it's gone totally, but you need to be aware and think, okay, where is my business going and what threats do I have? And how do I either circumnavigate them by being at the front of this thing or moving, you know, pivoting your business 20 degrees to the left to make sure that you've still got a business in 2 years when that stuff comes through. So that's what I'd be encouraging, you know, and that's what I'll be working through with students on. It's important to be thinking about that. And then just how do you leverage it now? You know, so for instance, you can have a PDF that's read and then say, rewrite that into a video script and produce me a video. And I want I want the tonality of that to be Will Smith. And I want B-roll footage that's added into that. What suggests B-roll footage that goes into it. And then by the time you've made a cup of coffee, that's done. And then as you saw that some of those videos that Gavin showed before, there's AI plugins where you just put that in now. You don't have to video it. You don't have to do video cameras like we've got here. It's literally before an hour, you would have the whole thing produced, done. And there's your video training, you know. So it's just
the training aspects are like really, really powerful, especially if you think on a global scale, to be able to internationalize instantly with voices from every language, you know, every continent. You can expand that out straight away. And then not only the voice, but you can also change the face. So you can have it look and be like a local rather than some American guy trying to train somebody in Australia and then they're like, oh, can't stand his accent or whatever. Instantly change all of that over and have that at scale, which is huge. But yeah, like Mark was saying, looking further forward, because this is moving so quickly that if you look at what's available now and what you can do now, by the time you've actually integrated that in, there's new stuff already on the horizon. So looking further forward ahead of where things are going and trying to visualize, okay, well, these are the parts of my job or my business that are very data heavy, very knowledge based, repetitive, those kind of things. And what can I do to completely replace those in an automatic way so that I can focus on something else that's more productive and generates more revenue? Maybe that is removing all of your training and introduction cycle and replacing that with AI. There's some pretty cool voice technology around call centers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of talk that basically every call center will be replaced by AI. And I know at the moment a lot of them sound robotic, but there's already some massive progress where it's got the ums and ahs. So
Yeah, I had one the other day.
Okay, let me have a look. And then
I had one the other day from King Kong. I don't know if you guys have ever touched base with King Kong. So if you touch base at all, you go to their website, look out, you're going to get smashed.
He's good. Yeah.
They're very good. I mean, I think he's turning over about 60 million now in the digital marketing space. And he had an AI person ring me the other day, and it wasn't till about 20 minutes in that I recognized this was AI. It was just unbelievable. Listening to everything I said, I said, "Are you AI by any chance?" And it laughed. He said, "What, do you think I'm that good? Do I sound like that?" And I said, "Well, you do a bit." He goes, "No, I'm not." And then I caught it out right at the end because I kept asking the same question over and over again. It was coming up with a similar answer, but slightly different. So he wanted to book in an appointment. I think it was Monday or Tuesday next week. I said, "No, mate, next week's gone. You're going to have to go the week after." And he said, "Oh, okay, let me have a look." And I thought, okay, that's normal. And he goes, "How about then Tuesday?" And I said, no, I just told you, mate, it's gone. We need to go the week after. And it couldn't quite deal with that. So that's when I said, "I think you're AI." And he goes, "No, I'm not." I said, "Well, send me an email." And so maybe it wasn't, but it was insane. But I think it was. And and I got the email.
With a robotic voice, just
so you can go to that extreme if you want. Now, obviously, that would, I don't know the cost of that type of technology.
His name wasn't James, was it, Mark?
I don't know, mate. I'd need to check it out, but I've got an email from him. But listen, it's the process that we're trying to show you, that there's almost, if you can dream it, as we say to our kids, you can do it. It's almost at that stage now with this stuff. So if you're to look at you students of mine, we go through the 4 pillars of your business. You look at those 4 pillars and say, well, what do we do continuously? How can we do that? So, for Warren, if you're trying to outsource some of your accounting sources because to give you more space and more time, there'd be training videos that you could produce within half a day done on how you're training your staff that are coming on board to help you do certain tasks. And they can be kept up to date automatically. It's not like you have to rebuild it each time. You can just put the app in there to say, okay, I need to change. When we drop it onto our file, we don't go to this Dropbox, we go to that Dropbox. And you could just tell it to do that, and it will produce the new video with that in.
You can start looking at like for the accounting stuff as well. You can start looking at value add services that you can add using AI as well. Like, if you've got a lot of plumbers, tradies, all of that sort of stuff, they hate bookwork, they hate bookkeeping, they hate follow up and all that. So if you can replace all of their invoice follow up for them using AI that's customizing that, and you can incorporate that into your business as a service offering, it's a value add that you can charge extra for without adding any extra work. So setting up little processes like that where you can add these value add things where, because at the end of the day, probably not going to be too many plumbers who go, okay, I'm going to sit down for the next few hours and work out how to automate my invoicing and go through that. There'll definitely be a few, but most will look for an easy option, which will be pay somebody to do it for them through an app or a system. So if you can be that app or system, then you benefit from that value add of AI without actually having to change your current business process, and it makes you stay more relevant long term. Where they go, okay, well, I'm getting value from this business rather than me being able to just go, I'm done. I don't need an accountant or a bookkeeper or anything anymore. I can have AI do it for me. By offering those value add things, you can really
stay relevant.
Yeah, stay up to date with what's going on. And
okay, so how are we going time wise? Any other questions on the chat?
Yeah,
couple there.
Go back up.
Just check here, make sure there's nothing coming from here.
I think you already covered this, Mark. You talked about how Matt's email can be responded to, etc., using AI. What software is required to make this happen? Also, there's mention about onboarding. This could be useful info automatically being extracted from PDF in the CRMs. Yeah, onboarding. Using AI for onboarding's a no-brainer, especially big companies and that sort of stuff. You know, training videos, getting data, having access to be able to ask questions and all of that sort of stuff. Then recruiting is another massive one as well. You know, writing job ads, posting job ads, and then processing resumes and stuff as well as they come in to automatically rank the best ones and all that sort of stuff. So all of those processes, yeah, definite no-brainer for AI in that situation.
Melissa, I'll know Matt's changed it 3 times since November. So I'll find out from Matt the latest version that he's using for that, which is integrated Grammarly in it. So I'll get to you, Melissa. I think it was Melissa that asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come to Melissa because it's changed. He's on his 3rd one now.
So that was Warren.
Oh, Warren.
Yeah.
Yep. Warren, I'll get you to that, mate.
Cool. And Damien said Approval Max is an app for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So all good. But yeah, if there's, I think it's at the end of the day, a lot of all of this sort of stuff comes back to just really having that process of thinking about things differently and looking at things differently and going, okay, this is something that I do that takes up time. Maybe I look at how I can automate that and what's available and then going out and finding the solution. I suggest writing a list of like your whole day, and then you can even do a week. Write a list of all the tasks that you do throughout that week or the day. Yeah, and then go through and go, okay, which ones of these can be automated? Highlight them, and then go through that process of finding out. And if you time block them as well, so you can see how much time that would save.
So we use a program called Mark. And for all of course it's called Mark. It's got to be, but I got a C. I couldn't get a K. So for students will know this already. But for those that are on board that have never done training with me, so what you do is you list everything that's in your marketing, everything you do in marketing. Okay, so just or everything you want to do. So if you're doing it or you want to do it, you put it there. Okay, so you might say, I go to BNI meetings. I go and I do social media posts. I do LinkedIn I do XYZ, whatever you do in the marketing. Then you do everything you do in your business in relation to the agreement. Okay, so you've got to produce a quote, you've got to get contracts signed, anything at all in the agreement side. So you've marketed to the customer, you've attracted them, or you've got the agreement going on here. And then you've got R is the responsibility. So that's the doing of it. So someone said, yes, welcome aboard. Yeah, I'm coming on board. Let's go. Then you have the responsibility. Okay, and so you list everything you've got to do in relation to the responsibility or you'd want to be doing for that client. And then C is everything in relation to collections, which is money, collecting it, how you're going to do that. When you do that, then put who is responsible in the next column, who's responsible for doing that task. And this is where people go, oh my God, no wonder I'm feeling completely overwhelmed. I'm doing everything, which is what small businesses get to. And then put a time, like how much is it taking you in time? There's a whole lot more we do then. We start to look at what talents or skills are needed for those particular tasks. So then you can put what talent is needed and we can block things into talent. So you actually put people in doing the right jobs in your business through talent rather than skills. But if you were to do that exercise and then use a different color and say, okay, how can AI help me in that? What could they do in this part? What could they do in making sure the agreements were signed, scanned, and in my database automatically, as you said? The agreement comes back, be it a DocuSign or something like that. It's scanned automatically, and all that information is sucked into your CRM automatically. Like that'd be really powerful. Someone like Melissa, where you've got a lot of people's data and properties and sale prices and contract deals, it's all coming into your CRM to then be able to use. So that's how I would look at where you start with this in your own business is mark your business to start with. Look at those 4 columns. They're the critical columns. And then you can start to look at existing processes through that. So what have I been doing just because I do it? You know, I find when we open up businesses and we really look at them, there's sort of, you know, there's a bit of a, you know, for want of a better word, a hose pipe, but there's blockages, you know, in different areas. And so often when you actually lay it out like this and look at it, you can then sort of see, okay, well, how could I get rid of that blockage with current technology? Like I'm doing that because that's the way we've done it for 10 years. Well, you know, this forces you to step outside your business, okay, there's a smarter way to do this. And that's how I would sort of increase your productivity. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the way I would tackle and the way I do tackle AI coming into my business, what I do there. Okay. Any other questions in the chat? Or anyone got any comments on that?
B wants to know if we're learning the cards trick.
For those of you that they might have seen a card trick this morning that I did, so I don't think everyone was in the room. So, no, I'm not going to tell you, B. No, a magician never reveals stuff like that.
Not until you get a TV contract and go on Channel 7 and reveal them all.
Yeah, no, I don't think I was.
Sleight of hand and misdirection.
Could have been a little bit of that, Geordie, but no, it's I don't think I'm good enough for TV yet. Look, if you really want to know, those people that want to know it can hang on at the end. And I'm not going to tell you. No. I'll tell my students. Okay.
Like the Mark model thing.
Yeah, no worries. Cool.
But yeah, feel free to reach out to Mark if you've got any questions, or even hit me up directly yourself. Always happy to take any.
Do you want to write your number on the
any
board?
Questions or whatever?
It'll just write
I'll give you my phone number. Hit me up on LinkedIn.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're putting Gavin's details up again.
There you go. I get enough telemarketing calls. I don't need anything.
It's not telemarketing calls, man.
Yeah. I always bump you to.
But listen, if it's been useful and you think you'd want to see it again, or you want to have a reach out with Gavin directly, reach out to him. You know, we've only sort of touched the iceberg here on stuff. And I know that for a fact because he helps me in my business. So, you know, just let us know and we'll coordinate that for sure. And hopefully you guys have got some value out of just seeing what might be possible. Just think about Mark in your business. Think about if you can dream it, you can do it. And think about garbage in, garbage out. So work through those processes. And the other thing is just do it. Have a go. You know.
Yeah, that's it. Like if you jump on ChatGPT and log in and play, if you haven't already, just start asking questions. Start typing on there. Like all tech, right? You can't break it. You log in, start typing some stuff, and get the responses, and just practice. Anything that you do on ChatGPT itself, like on the actual app, you can automate through APIs on the back end. So, if you find that you're putting in information, getting good results, and you want to start to automate that process rather than sitting there and copying and pasting, you can use Make or Zapier and those sort of things to automate all of that through the API connection. So, yeah, just have a play. Definitely.
Cool. And is Ming on board? Ming, are you on board? You can't see.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, okay. So Ming is a student of mine, and he has used AI. He's another whiz in the web space area, and he's used AI to create a business inside 3.5 weeks. And we were on a call this morning to a big fashion agency in they're based in Toronto, but they've got offices all around the world, and they've got one in New York, and they're turning over $40 million a year, and they want his investment portfolio. They want his investment pitch that he's raising money for, because they saw it and said, oh my God, that's insane. That's going to. So AI can be implemented really, really fast in a business. I suppose that's where I'm going. Sure, if you're not completely IT savvy, like myself, you need to support, you need people around you that can do it. But don't let that stop you. Just because you're not IT savvy, don't hold back your business and hold the brakes off this thing when the opportunities are now, just through lack of knowledge. Get the knowledge, stay up a bit, watch some YouTube, or reach out to people that can help you and get it implemented. Okay, guys, so we're going to wrap it up there. Just to give you a heads up, follow us on socials, on my socials. The next one I'm doing is another a remarkable businesswoman, and just a little bit of a pitch for what that looks like. She went to bed one evening. She has a 5-year-old little boy. She went to bed one evening and had she had a stroke, rushed to hospital, and they told her she probably won't live. She may live, they're not too sure, and they're not sure what the damage will be like. Anyway, she laid in hospital and thought, how can I leave a little 5-year-old? What can I leave him as something that can make a difference in his life? Like, I'm not going to be here as his mum, potentially. And so she built a business out of that opportunity. And I thought it was quite a remarkable business, and it's really good. So anyone that has children, it is a no-brainer to watch how she did it and what she did. And now the resilience in her children is off the Richter scale. So I'm going to interview her next time. She's a terrific, amazing woman with a fantastic story of just self-resilience, self-healing, and what she did around it to see the opportunity. So I hope you guys will get some good value out of that. Again, just hearing inspirational stories from other people. But mate, thanks for coming, Gavin.
No, you're
good
welcome.
work. And guys, thanks for attending, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone.